Hi everyone. So, Yuki says hello as well. We are up to chapter 4 in The Legend of Spud Murphy by Eoin Colfer. And chapter 4 is called A Good Book. Yuki, she really wants to go outside. She's not allowed to. Okay, so remember in the last chapter, chapter 3, that Marty got a stamp on his forearm from Spud that said, "I love Barbie," when he thought that he was getting a pirate ship of some sort. And Spud said, "Whoops, wrong stamp." Okay, so the next chapter, chapter 4, is A Good Book. That's the name of the chapter. For the next few visits, I sat on the carpet pretending to read. I sat there until I felt sure the pattern from the old faded carpet had transferred itself onto my bottom. Marty spent most of the time licking his forearm, but it was no use. The stamp didn't fade, and now he just had a blue tongue too. Sometimes Mum arrived early to take us home and would catch me pretending to read. "Now there's a sight to make any mother smile," she said. "I just knew that you would love reading if only you gave it a try." That was it. We were doomed. 3 afternoons a week, Mum decided we would spend 2 hours in the library. So 3 times a week, we pretended to read quietly. Sometimes we forgot to be quiet, and then Spud would pay the children's section a visit. I remember the first time it happened. We were arguing over who owned the air in our bedroom. I said that Marty owned the air on his side of the room, but he said that he owned the air at ground level. This meant that I would have to climb onto the top bunk just to breathe. Suddenly, a familiar shadow fell across the carpet, making me shiver. Spud stood there, feet apart, her belt weighed down with rubber stamps. Uh-oh. Without saying a thing, she pulled out a large flashcard from her pocket. And on the flashcard was written the word "shh." We got the message. We couldn't fight. We couldn't shout. We couldn't make loud bodily noises. And this is all the things that young boys live for. Oh, the boredom. My head felt like it would fall off and spin across the wooden floor. I tried everything to entertain myself. Watching movies in my head, following the pattern of the carpet in this little carpet prison, and even eating strips of paper from the book. Don't try that at home, guys. But most of all, I just dreamed of freedom. Then one day, something strange happened. I was pretending to read a book called Finn McCool, the Giant of Ireland, when something caught my eye. It was the first sentence of the story. "Finn McCool," it said, "was the biggest giant in Ireland." There was something about that sentence. It was interesting. I decided to just read a little bit more. I wouldn't read the whole book, no way, but maybe just a couple of sentences. "Finn had a problem," said the book. "Angus MacTavish, the biggest giant in Scotland, wanted to fight him." Well, I couldn't stop now. 2 giants fighting? Maybe I'd just see how that turned out. And so I read to the end of the page, and then I kept right on reading. And before I knew it, I was lost in the tale of Finn McCool and Angus MacTavish. There was adventure and magic and battles and clever plans. Mountains exploded and wizards slew goblins. Magic goats talked and princesses turned into swans. It was another world. "Ready to go?" said a voice. I looked up. It was Mum. "What are you doing here?" I asked. There were shopping bags in Mum's hands. "What do you think I'm doing here? It's time to go." I hugged the book close to my chest. "But we just got here. It's only..." And I stopped talking because I'd spotted the wall clock. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd been reading a book for almost 2 hours. I looked across at Marty. He was still reading. A book with a picture of a dragon on the cover. What was going on here? "Come on now, your dad's going to be waiting." To my complete amazement, I realised that I didn't want to leave my book behind. And neither did Marty. But Mum..." "Yes, Marty. I've not finished my book." "Neither have I." Mum put down the shopping bags and gave us both a big hug. Right out in public. It's a good thing our friends didn't hang out at libraries. Do you think that Mrs. Murphy would let us bring them home? Mum picked up the bags. "Of course. You've got your cards with you, don't you?" And that is the end of the chapter. The next chapter is called Off the Carpet, and I believe it is the last chapter in the book, chapter 5. So if you enjoyed chapter 4, you have to let me know, and I look forward to posting chapter 5 tomorrow. Have a lovely day, guys. Bye.